Hello and welcome to the NextPowerUp review of Mad Max. I understand I'm a couple of weeks late on this thing, but it was a toss-up between Metal Gear Solid and Mad Max, and I'm kind of glad I chose the one I did. So we'll jump straight up to the settings menu and quickly onto the audio. It's always nice to notice when people have an audio set up for headphones, which is kind of nice because it slightly changes the way that the stereo channels work. So anyway, we'll go on to graphics. This graphics menu is probably one of the best, and to be perfectly honest, this is what I expected. This game is developed by Avalanche Studios, the guys that brought us Just Cause, all of the Just Causes, and are bringing us Just Cause 3. And all their games have always been pretty ace in terms of graphics menus. So I'm pretty happy with the settings we've got here. It does have 4K support. Why this has decided to go down to 25 Hz, I don't know. When you get into game, it resets to 60, so I have no idea what's going on there. It happened while I was doing my benchmarks too, but it didn't seem to affect the figures, so not quite sure what's going on there. We have every option under the sun, which is awesome. Anisotropic, AA, and super sampling. You've got depth of field, just everything a tinkerer could possibly want. There's not much to say here because the video options menu is just fantastic, so good thing there. One small little thing that I find slightly annoying is that in order to escape a menu, instead of pressing escape, which when you press it, it makes sounds, but it doesn't actually do anything, you have to press Q instead. So E is your select button and Q is the one that goes back for some reason. Not quite sure what that is. I think that's a bit of an odd choice. Perhaps it was a decision made whilst porting. That said, it's a pretty decent port. It does support full multi-core setups, so it will use your entire CPU if it needs to. Just going to turn the audio down here, and it actually used about 4 cores maximum on pretty much all of my benchmarks. 43% on 4K and 42 on 1080p. So CPU usage is actually pretty damn low. Just going to quickly lower the volume via Windows because I can't make it lower than 5%. There we go. Every game seems to be loud with this sound card setup. I am having a couple of issues with potential problems with audio corruption, whether it's to do with the Sound Blaster Z and the Windows 10 drivers, I'm not entirely sure, but I get a lot of audio corruption. As soon as I leave the outpost, in fact, that happens, and sometimes when you get that revving up sound when you're in the larger vehicles, the corruption happens there. It might just be down to my setup, or it might be a problem with the game, but that's what I've experienced. We'll jump into one of the menus first, but this is one of the many strongholds about the place. You can bring cars back here to add them to your collection. I'll quickly show you that. So you press T to hit your collection. You have Archangels, which are like pre-built cars with certain upgrades, but to be honest, they're exactly the same as a car you could build yourself. They don't provide any additional perk. So let's say you have a vehicle that's built exactly the same as an Archangel vehicle. There will be no additional perks for you building exact to the specification of the Archangel blueprint, if you will, as if you just built it yourself. So there's really no point in building the Archangel cars because there's nothing special about them. You may as well just build a car how you want it because it's going to be as good, if not better. So I was a little bit disappointed with that because it seems like they've added this wonderful blueprint system to make these legendary cars, and yet they seem to be relatively worthless. And of course, there are certain types of vehicles throughout the world which you can collect by murdering their drivers and then driving them back to a stronghold, and you can bring them back. These are also pre-built cars. You can't customize these. So if you choose one, you will be undetectable to the faction that the car belongs to, but you won't get any additional things that you can upgrade with them, which is a bit annoying. But this game is all about customizing your own car. So we'll head over to the car customization menu, which isn't in this garage area. So you have a ton of upgrades, but there's not really that many upgrades in each one of them. You've only got 6 in each, apart from... Oh, I pressed escape. It made a noise, but it didn't go back. And weirdly, if you press escape in this menu... Oh, it's working now. That's bizarre. So if I click into this, press escape twice, and look, it just does some weird stuff. So anyway, back to the upgrade menus. So you've got a whole host of things to upgrade. You've got the front ram, which is your primary source of damage. Bullets are pretty scarce in this game, which I like. It's one of the things that stays true to the whole Mad Max story of, you know, the world has not many resources left, so bullets are hard to come by. So you've got rams, armor, engines, all sorts of car upgrades to increase its speed, handling, defense, weaponry, the whole lot, which you can see down here. You also have a couple of other things. You have a sniper rifle. Sniper rifle is a car weapon, bizarrely enough, and you can't equip it outside of the car. But what you do is you sort of park up somewhere, go out back, and you aim. But what you can do is you can get your little Hunchback of Notre Dame Petman chum bucket to drive the car very slowly while you're sniping out the back, which is kind of cool. I like that, but you know, I would have liked to have used the sniper rifle outside of the car. You got the harpoon, which is used to pull down buildings, very similar to Just Cause 2. You can see where the influence of that's come from, and also extract parts of cars while they're driving. So if you're going against a war party, you can literally fire it at them and just tug bits off of their car, provided your harpoon has the level high enough to pull off bits of car. But at level 1 you can pull out people provided there's no armor left on the car. And you've got nitrous, repair speed. You've got not many car bodies. I'd like to have seen more car bodies, but hey, DLC. Of course, the first released DLC was the Ripper, which I inadvertently got with my press copy. So to be honest, I'm a bit annoyed because the Ripper looks like that and the Shrivel Face looks like that. They kind of look similar, so I feel like that, you know, pre-release DLC kind of wasn't really worth it. You got a bunch of paint jobs. There's not really much customization involved, really. It's, you know, the core part of the game is about the cars and racing and doing loads of damage to people and just some crazy shit. Except besides this, you know, subtle upgrades to this and that, there's really not that personable customization. I mean, you can stick decals here and there, but they don't really do anything. Buy a decal. Oh, you can customize the decal color. We'll go for pink. Success. So where's that installed? Ah, it's on top. There you go. And you've also got ornaments, which are pretty cool. Ornaments are probably my favorite little bits of upgrades because they're like enchantments or runes in other games, except they just provide little additional tiny little stats, and you can, as you can see on the right there, some that increase speed and damage and stuff like that, and you can apply one to the front of your car and one to the back, which is pretty cool. And Thunderpoons, which you probably would have seen from the film, except I haven't unlocked them yet. I've been playing for like 9 hours and I still haven't unlocked those, but yeah, whatever. Also, you can of course customize mechs. So melee combat, you can unlock additional knuckle dusters, which increases your damage, base damage. You can get new leather items, which I'll equip just there. Kind of looks very much similar, except he's got a shoulder pad, and a whole host of stuff. Weirdly, you can. Now, is that? Yeah. See, you can unlock beards. Now, this is a peculiar upgrade, but it's an upgrade nonetheless. And of course, you can go all the way to Santa Claus, which that's pretty close to already. And of course, you can unlock a few little perks, so that when you're fighting people in melee combat, it just makes it slightly more awesome. This little tools thing is pointless because the only thing I've ever unlocked is the Jimmy bar. Everything else is unlocked already, and that's pretty much it. Collectibles, there's tons. History relics are the bits of, you know, story that are littered about the world of, oh, the past, so sad. But we'll jump ahead in the car and start killing people first because, you know, that's what we came. Oh look, there's no sound of the car. Is it going to come back? Oh yeah. There's just no sound of the car. What you should be hearing is the engine growls, except there is nothing, which is a little bit annoying. That's bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. See, I have not managed to figure out how on earth this happens. There we go. Oh, a car for us to destroy. So, this game is actually pretty damn good in terms of organic events around the world. I'll just lower that sound effect setting again. Ah, you see, if you lower sound effects down to 10%, you get no audio. I mean, how ridiculous is that? Crazy, crazy. So, yeah, as I was saying, the game is extremely organic, so you can literally be driving around somewhere, and then suddenly Chumbucket will say, oh shit, there's some guys over here, and then they patrol around the place. They're all different levels. They've got various cars. There'll be scrap vehicles littered about the place, and you can take over those and send them back to a base for a shitload of scrap, basically. And the world is very, very empty. Like, I'll show you the map. The map is actually pretty big. I've only unlocked this much of it in 9 hours, and you know, there's a good 50%, if not more than 50%, to unlock. If I zoom in here, you can see all of the lootable areas. You can see camps that I've destroyed, which provide additional scrap. You can see areas where I've marked snipers. You can see bits where you can get intel. These intel people will give you random bits of loot, scrap, or anything like that, or they'll give you intel on the camps that they're outside of. They're usually situated just outside a camp. And there's also these scarecrows, which are like totem poles, which you've got to drag down with your harpoon or just crash into them, which will lower the threat of the area. And the lower the threat of the area, the less sort of patrols you'll find going about the place. Now, what we'll do is we'll go on to one of these, because this is by far my favourite part of the entire game. And that's cruising around the convoy tracks in the opposite direction, and then just smashing head on into the whole group, and then taking on the whole group. Now, taking on a... Oh shit, that was a sniper. Yeah, see, shit can just happen randomly. Anyway, you can sort of attack these convoy groups, and you'll be up against, you know, a main truck which will have a fuel tank which you can shoot with your pistol, except I've got no ammo. And then you'll have like 5 or 6 other vehicles, all of varying different types and sizes and all sorts of loadouts. And you'll have to sort of attempt to dispatch them one by one, or deter them from coming after you, which generally involves absolutely devastating them within an inch of their life. And, you know, then you can collect all the scrap from the vehicles, and then you have to destroy the main convoy truck in order to get an ornament. So destroying these convoy war parties will unlock these ornaments for the front and back, and that's the primary way you unlock ornaments, and they'll be all over the map, and you'll just discover them. And as you can see, convoys are marked out with these very black tracks. This one's green on my mini-map because I've already destroyed them. As soon as I discovered a convoy and I started upgrading my car far enough, I found that just searching for these and absolutely decimating was probably the most entertaining part of the game. Obviously, a small amount of the gameplay is focused on foot gameplay, which involves going to camps and beating the shit out of people. And the camps are pretty good, and I'll hopefully try and show you a bit of that in a bit once I've showed you one of these war party encounters. War party encounters don't always go to plan, because there's one of me and there's usually many of them. And without guns, people who jump onto my vehicle, I can't dispatch them without whipping my car side to side like that. And you know, it makes it pretty difficult. And of course, aside from the fact that you're chasing a group of vehicles... Oh, I see some smoke ahead. That must be the convoy. Aside from the fact that you're attacking many, many vehicles, you've also got the fact that the world is so organic that enemies can literally come out of nowhere and join this war party. Oh, here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and take out as many of these guys as possible. You'll see the AI will peel off one by one and try and sort of flank us as we get closer. There we go. And of course this happens frequently, which is really annoying. You'll often find that enemy cars are pretty well upgraded, so it's quite hard to capture them up and keep up with them, especially if you get knocked off like that. There have been many occasions where I've got most of a war party down, except the damage I've, you know, sustained on my vehicle is just too great for me to carry on the fight. So I need to get out of the way of that flamethrower. God, that's annoying. And that's one of them down. I don't know if you saw the little bits of scrap that fell off him. We'll collect that later, maybe, if we have time. I want to see if I can destroy this fuel tanker. And these war parties just follow a very large circular path, so you're never in danger of losing them entirely. But these chases can go on for a pretty long time, so I need to destroy this guy. There's one guy down. Oh shit. These cars, despite the fact that this is largely, you know, a car game involving destruction, racing and speed and nitrous, the cars kind of handle like a bar of soap on a bathtub, so you'll find that skidding is not necessarily done with the handbrake or anything like that, but merely by going fast and turning really hard, similar to the arcade style games of Need for Speed, except, dare I say it, Need for Speed is slightly more drivery than this. And of course, I'm pretty early on in the game, so I haven't really unlocked that much in the way of... Oh shit, here we go. There we go, that guy's down. And of course, all of these cars have armor, so it usually takes a buttload of time for me just to knock them down. Let's see if we can get rid of that guy. Off you come. Yeah, Chumbucket is by far the most interesting character in this game. Like, I find him vastly more entertaining and interesting than Max himself, which is sad. It's just because I don't think the way they've dealt with Max has been particularly well. Haven't really spent a great deal of time. Get off. There we go, that's that guy off. Except I am now on fire. And this is a very heavily armoured truck. There we go, that's what happens. Fuck. So now, oh fuck. So now Chumbucket will repair my car for me. Usually those guys circle around and try and murder me. But Chumbucket will repair my car for me. And then we'll get back on the road. We'll probably avoid doing that. And we will head to... Where should we head to? Griffer location. Dismantle a camp in Gutgash's territory. Alright, we'll head to that camp. And actually, is that closest? Yeah, it's closest. We'll head to that camp and then we'll try and take it over, and I'll show you guys some of the mechanics on foot. And the fighting. The fighting is a little bit... You see, you can blatantly see that Warner Bros. Has sort of commanded Avalanche to tell them how the melee combat works, because it's very similar to Batman, except it's not as good. Batman is very, very smooth and silky. You know, they've had years and years and years to perfect it, but this one is very clunky. It doesn't react to your mouse clicks or anything like that very well. It's okay, it does the job, it's just below average and not particularly smooth. And so that can make taking on numerous enemies a bit of a chore. In Batman, it feels like, you know, you are a superhero, you're pretty damn good, and you can take on as many enemies as you please. Whereas in this, more than 4 or 5 enemies starts to get difficult, not because it's challenging, but because it feels like the game is constantly working against you. In terms of, like, just the way that the game reacts to your clicks, it just seems a little bit laggy, to be perfectly honest. While we're driving past here, we'll whip him off. Yeah, so lead slingers are prime way to get yourself some sniper ammo. I think I only have 1 bullet, and I quite like to use sniper bullets to dispatch the defenses of encampments, because it makes it easier to get in. Now, camps are surrounded by defenses that you have to breach before you get in. These can involve either cars, They'll sometimes have snipers, they'll have flamethrowers out the front gates, and they'll have front gates which may be armoured. And you have to deal with these in certain ways. And if you don't deal with them within certain periods of time, they get buffed, which means they do more damage and they're slightly more difficult to destroy. And the same goes for inside camps, really. If you don't kill the war criers fast enough, then all the guys that you're engaging in very difficult melee combat get even harder because they deal more damage. Let me use a boost here, see if I can't get there. Oh, shit. See if we can't get there a bit quicker. I have dealt so much damage to this car merely by driving it and not actually engaging it in any actual car combat. Obviously the game is actually pretty physicsy and a lot of stuff can be solved using the old harpoon. So what we'll do is, in order to dispatch that, all we need to do is pull that fuel can off the wall. Obviously the harpoon takes a while to Oh, so that camp was really easy. That had... Oh, I think I've taken out these snipers earlier. Yeah, I took out these snipers earlier. Usually you'd have to dispatch a few snipers. Right, strong gate. How am I going to deal with that? I'm going to have to ram it with my car, except it could deal me some serious damage, so I might have to leave Chumbucket to repair it for a little bit. There's no intel guys outside of here, which is a little bit disappointing. Sometimes they can reveal secret entrances either under the buildings or around them, or reveal a slightly secret entrance. Well, that gate wasn't very strong. Let's get out and show you some of this combat. Now it's nice and easy. Oop. Yeah, see what I mean? I right click then and it just didn't parry. I right click way before the circle reached the center. And that's just classic Batman, isn't it? When you get to the end and it focuses heavily on that. It's very Batman inspired, which is bizarre because that means that Warner Bros has had a very heavy hand in what goes on with Mad Max. Because it looks, ooh, destroy all transfer tanks. You see, this random shit just happens all the time. That's one thing that I actually kind of like about this game, besides the fact that it's exceptionally average and it does everything in a mediocre fashion. It just feels organic. Like, it just randomly says, oh, hey, this shit's happened. Do this. And it's nice to be surprised even 10 hours into the game. Which, you know, coming from Metal Gear Solid, that's pretty standard, but yeah, it's pretty good. Obviously, the game has many shortcomings involving sound glitches, general buggy glitches, like not being able to refuel your car when it's on a slight slant. So if I put this car front wheel on this rock here and try to refuel it, it just wouldn't let me refuel. Come on, die, damn it. Alright, he's down. The combat kind of sucks and the guns just feel worthless. Right, here we go. This should make things more interesting. Ah, shit. Gonna have to concentrate a bit here. You see, the combat would be cool if they just spent a little bit of time on it. So we can see the fighters are buffed because I haven't killed the war crier in time. So that means I'm going to get dealt a shitload of damage and I may actually die here. I hope not. Damn, this guy's hard to kill. There we go. And of course you can pick up weapons. However, they break if you use them a little bit too much. You can get upgrades for max, like passives basically. Except the passives are the passives can only be gained from these areas. So you visit one of these areas and you gain grift tokens by increasing in your legend rank. I'll show you. No, there we go, legend. So these are your abilities, and the more stuff you do around the world increases your level. So that means dropping scarecrows, releasing towns, defeating war parties, and just doing general missions. This will increase your legend level, and each time you gain one of these levels, you get a point. You head on over to one of those little areas I marked on the map, and you can spend those points in all of these. It's simple stuff, really. Melee damage, the amount of health you have, the amount of fuel you can get out of a fuel can, the amount of water you can get out of your water can, and very simple stuff like that. It's okay. It's very basic. It feels like they've put in a leveling system for the sake of... Oh, shit. Didn't see you there, mate. Dealt with. It just feels like they were told you need a leveling system in your game, and so they went, oh, okay, I guess we can do that. And then they went from there and didn't really spend much time on it. The whole way through this game, it feels like they were told to do lots of things, and then they spent 10 minutes doing them, and then were told to do something else, and then they spent 10 minutes doing that. It just feels like there's a lot of potential content. There's tons of mechanics. There's tons of just organic content. It's just that they spent... Are you shitting me? Wonderful. It's just that they spent no time doing it at all, and so it's a very broad game, but everything in it is very shallow. And it just feels like it would have been better suited if they, you know, narrowed it down a bit, and then maybe the game wouldn't have come half price within all of 10 minutes of it releasing. Oh god, please tell me I don't have to redo this entire place. That'll be annoying. Either way, I do need to find a fuel tank to destroy those other... Oh, I walked past one right here. What are the odds of that? So yeah, while I appreciate that there's a ton of different mechanics that are pretty good for the most part, all of them have little problems that could have been solved if they just spent a little bit more time. It is an entertaining... Oh, fuck, I forgot to ignite that. It is an entertaining game. I mean... Oh, look, there's another wonderful bug. He says it's an entertaining game when he can't pick up a friggin' fuel can. As I was saying, it is an entertaining game. It's just... You know all those games they made of movies? Like Spider-Man, the movie, the video game. And just every video game that ever was released based upon a film that was relatively popular but no one really wanted or asked for the game. It's like one of those. It's entertaining but exceptionally average, and it's the sort of game... Oh, why do I keep pressing the throw button instead of igniting it first? And it just feels like... I don't know. Oh, come on! Well, that's just great. Luckily, this game is so bizarre that bullets are in short supply and water's kind of hard to get. You know, water parts are marked around the map. You know, water, fuel, and bullets are supposedly scarce resources. And all of them are except fuel, because fuel is in unlimited quantities. So if you find one of those places like I just did earlier, you'll discover that you can basically get yourself unlimited fuel by simply walking to and from that area. Now, they've kind of limited that by only allowing you to store one fuel canister in your car. But if you were really desperate to take over a camp that you were finding difficult, what you can do is just keep running back and forth through these doors, because the AI is so bad that they just can't walk through doors properly. And just keep collecting fuel tanks and throwing them at them. Let's throw that over there. Another thing is the game really does encourage you to explore a lot. Except most of the rewards from Ooh, what's this for? Except most of the rewards for exploring is just simply scrap, and that's one of the problems with only having single currencies in this game. When you're upgrading stuff, you don't necessarily need parts or anything like that. All you need is scrap. You need to unlock the part by just doing a mission. All parts are unlocked by doing missions or reducing threat levels in certain areas. It's the only way you can unlock stuff. You can't, like, say, there are a lot of unlocks that are blocked behind mission completion requirements, which I find annoying. The thing that made games like Skyrim so popular is the fact that you could run around and do anything you wanted, and you could still progress and level up and everything like that. Except in this game, it's like it's constantly reminding you that there is a main mission and that it really wants you to complete the main mission. And we know this world is open world and everything, and that's kind of cool, but we would really like you to play the game that we spent so much time developing the main campaign for. And that gets a little bit irritating, to be perfectly honest, because I just want to explore, destroy war parties, come across random stuff in the world, and destroy it, and, you know, be able to play the game without having to follow the story. Except a lot of the things in it are just... everything's just kept behind walls constantly. I mean, there's not too much that is kept behind these mission completion rewards. A lot of it is simply down to, you know, reduce the threat level in this area, or take down so many scarecrow, blah 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 blah. It's just that it gets a little bit tiring when you're enjoying yourself and then you're forced to play the part of the game you don't necessarily want to play at that time, but you know, you have to if you want to upgrade your vehicle, because the upgrades for the vehicles don't really come that frequently. At the start of the game, I mean, it's taken me 8 hours to unlock, I'd say, 2, maybe 3 tiers in each of those 10 upgrade places in the vehicle upgrade screen. And there's a lot more stuff to go, and for most of that time I literally couldn't destroy some scarecrows. I couldn't pull off of certain parts of cars because my harpoon wasn't high enough level, because I didn't unlock the harpoon thing, which required me to complete a mission. And so it was just really annoying. You see, that was an enemy I've never seen before, which is kind of cool. You know, 10 hours in and I've encountered someone that I have no idea. Oh shit. So this is relatively fun and challenging, but the issue is, yeah, the issue is you're stuck dealing with this really crappy combat system when you really need a way to deal with tons of enemies at once without having to constantly fight against this weird input lag, I guess. It's just badly done melee combat when the game is primarily focused on driving and melee combat. It's incredibly annoying. I hope I don't die here. That would be really annoying. There we go. Suck it, bitch. So now we finished killing them, we need to loot the area and find an oil can to destroy that thing outside. Oh, I need to turn my light on. There we go. Oh, what? Oh, is this where the jump thing comes in? This is the jump. That's the jump. Jump is left control, and jump does literally nothing. Like, maybe they included it to prevent you from getting stuck in a certain area, but man, is that the most pointless thing I've ever seen introduced into a game. I mean, I hate games that don't introduce jump functions, but that was... what was the point in that? I mean, honestly. So, you know, there's a few hidden areas here and there. And obviously, if you wanted to get a 100% completion, you have to collect all scrap in all areas, all of those little picture frames of your daughter in all areas, and all of that stuff. But it doesn't really matter, to be honest. The only thing worth searching for is scrap. The old-time relics I could not care less about because meh. Right, there's a fuel can there. I'm curious if we can grab the fuel can and move. Because I've discovered in this game there are a lot of things you cannot hold whilst holding something else. It's physically impossible to break down a door whilst holding something in. Oh, why do I keep doing that? See, I don't like the fact that middle click is used to throw things. It just seems wrong. I'd rather right click and aim. Thank you very much. So it makes it rather difficult to decide where you're going to throw things. I'm going to try and hurry up this area so that we can clear it. There we go, perfect parry. And we've just engaged Max Fury mode, which means you do slightly more damage and you do slightly more awesome wrestling style finishes. Come on, loot him. Every interaction in this game just feels so sluggish. It's like they had the potential to make a relatively decent game and they had a pretty simple formula to follow, and then they just spent no time whatsoever on any of it. Whether that is the fault of Avalanche Studios, or whether it's a case of Warner Bros. Said, oh hey, by the way, we need this game in 6 months time when the film comes out, please. And you know, they were just forced to screw around. Aha! So these boxes hold project parts, and project parts are... oh, excellent. And these project parts can be used to dump extra items in strongholds and stuff like that. Now I need to figure out where the hell I need to go. And so you can sort of unlock various... I can't be asked to destroy those fuel things. I just want to get to the end. So you can unlock various things in strongholds, like additional scrap whenever you enter a stronghold. You can then collect munitions and fully load all of your weapons when you visit strongholds, and fully fill your water cans and everything like that. So it's kind of cool, except it's very easy because you can basically say, hey, I need this project part, please search for it in the world, and then it just shows you exactly where it is, and it gets a little bit boring. Now I have absolutely no idea where to go. I am confused. Very, very confused. Oh, so I've just accidentally jumped down there. And then we'll end up going around in a circle again. Now I'm sure there's more enemies around here. Just don't know where they are. And once I kill them, it will completely unlock the stronghold. Is it down here? There's more scrap. You see, there's definitely something over there. Oh, well, you can't jump because the jump button basically does nothing. Anyway, if I could be bothered to find all of the enemies in that area, I might unlock the, well, destroy the camp, and then people move in. And once they move in, they provide 40 or 50 scrap every sort of in-game day. No, why does he say that? My water can is full. It's just, there are little things in this game that just feels like they haven't done anything properly. But you know, at least it wasn't a total mess up like Batman was on release, so we can be thankful of some things. I really want to know where the hell I'm supposed to go. I can hear guys shouting in places, and it's either downstairs. Where the hell did they come from? I don't know whether these enemies have spawned for a reason, or... Oh, I keep right-clicking and it's getting irritating. So yeah, the combat definitely has a lot of punch. It's just that engaging in combat is a mindless chore that I really do not want to do on a frequent basis. So there's that. Yeah, I honestly do not think I can be bothered to mess around with this place anymore. It's a weird game because there's just so much world and there's so much content, and yet the world feels entirely empty. Like in the film, you know, there were enemies all over the place, and they were constantly on him, and he could never escape from them. There were entire war parties, but in this game, it's just a massive, vast, empty expanse, and there's just nothing in it. Most of the time, it's just empty desert road, which I guess is close enough to the lore. But in a game, it just makes you feel bored because there's nothing there to do. So I'm just gonna leave this camp and be on my way. However, I am going to leave this camp with that delightful scrap truck I saw earlier, because that's going to give me a ton of scrap. And you can see how I'm not detected. There's my old car. And I'll head back to Gutgash's stronghold. But I think we'll leave it there, because all of my negative thoughts have just come to fruition, and I can't be bothered to describe how irritated this game makes me feel. So yeah, I mean, if you are looking for just a mindless piece of entertainment that's based around driving cars and melee combat, that's got terrible cars that drive and steal like lunchboxes, and the combat is incredibly laggy, yeah, by all means give it a go. I mean, at this stage I suspect the game is going to be on sale very, very soon. It's already available to buy from various digital storefronts for half price, and I imagine it'll be on a Steam sale within months. So entertaining a little bit, but nothing to rave about.